Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes, and we've got a very special person that I'm speaking to today, old friend of the channel. It's Leslie Roberts. We haven't spoken for some time, and I know a lot sort of been happening within her world, because it's not just one issue. She's a fighter of many causes, but we've got her here today, and I'll be speaking to her. And so, first of all, let me just say hello, Leslie. Welcome back. Been a long time.
Hello, David. Yeah, thank you, and thank you for the invitation.
Right. So, what is the current sort of thing that's been going on with regards to everything, really? Just talk us through the sort of the main thing for why you're here today.
Well, if we were going to talk about everything, we'd still be sitting here 24 hours later saying, here we are, but
I'm
we'll,
only allowed a half-hour record. It's
I
Zoom.
know. Um, rather than talk about things in general, I would like to give you an update on the police and where we are with that. Um, as part of the inquiry, when the police spoke to me, they asked me if I could present any of the information that would support what I had put to them regarding my complaint regarding COVID. And I had found, well, I hadn't found, I'd assisted with three other cases that showcased a number of things that were in my complaints to the police regarding corporate manslaughter. Now, these cases where one in particular was a lady who had been injured in hospital, but there was no recording mechanisms to showcase where she was injured. So after she had died, the daughter said that her mother had cuts in her face. And where did these come from?
I was just,
And no
was
one could
this
actually
this is
tell her.
sick. Right, so this is she died as a result of injuries that occurred in hospital, or she was dying anyway. So I just want to clarify.
Well, to be honest, she was only in hospital 2 days and went into hospital because she was slightly unwell. And the first thing they did was the usual put her on a do not resuscitate order without speaking to the family. They've now apologised for it, but the point is it's still been done in the first place. So the damage has already been done. And then after she had died, when the daughter went to go and see her mum when she was in the undertaker, she said, do you know why she's got a cut to her face? And no one could tell her. So when her and I raised it with the health board, there was no RIDDOR recording, there was no Datex, there was all the, oh, excuse me, all the recording mechanisms that should be used when someone takes ill or something happens in hospital were not being used during COVID. So that was plenty of evidence, but the police wouldn't take that forward because it never met the terms of reference as set with the Lord Advocate. The
Yes.
other two, yes, the other two cases were, they were equally bad. One man has come out this still alive, but whilst he was in hospital in the QE, the place of I don't yes, he took umpteen infections while he was in, and while he was in the coma during COVID, they had to put him on a ventilator because he was so unwell apparently. So while he was in the coma, there was allegedly no staff to turn this man, and he came out of hospital needing plastic surgery to his face.
What?
Plastic surgery to his face because of a lack of staff. Now, when he then
Oh
raised
my.
this with
This
the
is
health board,
sorry. This is this is horrifying. I understand you turn patients with bed sores and things. I had no idea. I mean, literally, this is astonishing to me. I had no idea that it could be that serious. You actually needed plastic surgery to repair a face because nobody
yes,
would turn you.
yes,
I'm I'm
yes.
I'm, I'm literally gobsmacked, Leslie. That's just blown my mind. I didn't know that was a thing. Sorry,
Well,
it's just amazed. Yeah.
to be honest, I look at the man and I can see where the scarring is, and I can see why he needs plastic surgery. But because I never knew him prior to that, I just kind of see his face for what it is. You know, I've never
Yeah.
known him to be any different. But he is of the view that he needs plastic surgery, and this has been in the paper. But
Mhm.
one of the other papers didn't want to run it because they felt it was just too detrimental to the health board. But if you're not out in stories like this, the health board are
It's never going to
continue.
change. Nothing will
It's never
change.
going to change. And the
No.
cover ups, the lying, everything is just going to get worse. And you're seeing that more with Sandy Peggy case as well.
Oh,
Is that,
I've been covering that from day one.
you know, the
That's
to be
been
honest,
that's a
I
joke.
but it's how the health board deals with things. I mean,
Mm.
when you look at my case, listening into calls for a plan to deal with me, all of that, it kind of ties into the same kind of the language, the terminology. It's all the same with all these health boards. They don't care. It's all about protecting that public reputation
Yeah,
against
it's a
health and
corporate
safety.
mindset, isn't it? It's that corporate mindset.
Yeah.
We are the elite. We're better. We must do everything to protect us, even at the cost and detriment of people.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that should never be. I mean, what a public sector organisation should be doing is putting their hands up and saying, "Do you know, look, we done wrong here, and we're apologising. This is what we're doing." And you, okay, your family might have died, but you might have said, "Well,
Mm.
okay, I understand. Part of that was something that happened out with your control, and I'm glad it's not going to happen to others." But instead of doing that, they'll cover it up.
Mm.
You know, it's like they'll cover it up, they'll try and lie. And you're seeing that all in all the inquiries now and all the stories that are coming out. So here's this man been left with scarring to his face. He then tried to raise a complaint. They said that he was out of time to do so. The SPSO then agreed with the health board, as they do,
Hmm.
and he's gone round in circles. So we've wrote to the health board again saying, why can we not raise this as a complaint? Now, if someone is damaged to the point where, to that point, and you are then having other issues, mental health issues, because of the state of your
Oh
face,
God,
you
yes,
know,
definitely. Yeah.
absolutely. And I'm sure he would come on and speak to you. I'm sure he would. But they're not allowing him to raise a complaint. And it's been very much of, you know, run away now and we don't want to hear from you. But when he raised subject access requests, they sent him out somebody else's notes. And
No,
they're reviewing.
that's breach.
Yeah,
That's
they
a
said,
breach of
right,
everything. That's
this is what they
horrendous.
do. So they sent him out somebody's notes who him and I got in touch with, and it
Mm.
ended up he'd made a complaint and got nowhere as well. So it's now with the ICO, but the health board are, oh, you know, we're really good friends with all these quangos. Yeah, you are, and that's the problem,
Mm.
is that you've got no real oversight board who's
No,
turning around and saying,
I,
you can't do this.
yeah, I see how like they're saying, "Oh, you can't. It's too late for the complaint," but that's only for their internal rules. Surely he could take this to court and sue.
The problem then, David, is that if you do that, you are using your money to raise all these actions. The health board are also using your money to defend themselves. And you can see that with Sandy Peggy. I think
Yeah.
they're almost, is it 300,000 or something,
Well, that the
defending
three
them
hundred thousand
defending
that they're
them.
admitting, but they estimate it's actually a lot more. But the health board they keep fighting the information commissioner about releasing the full figures. David Hamilton is getting very angry with them.
Well, he's just gave me,
I'm going to say he's threatening legal action against NHS 5, isn't he?
well, he's just gave me a good result yesterday from GGC. They were trying to cover up smear test results, and I raised an FOI. The usual wouldn't
All
give
right,
me the
this is a new story.
information.
I haven't seen anything on this one.
I haven't done anything on it yet
That's why I
because it
haven't
was
seen
just.
anything then. Right, I should keep an eye out. You
I've got
keep
lots to tell you.
you
Actually,
you
there's
keep
information.
busy, don't you? You're a very busy woman.
I'm at 143 complaints to Quangos because I just want to try and out it
Well done.
because. But the Scottish Legal Complaints Commission, I'm going to have news about something else very shortly. But we're talking about this, so I'm
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
going
Let's
to
not get
veer off
distracted.
in a
It's just no.
tangent.
It's just that you do so much in so many different areas. It's just amazing to stand back and just watch you. You're a force of nature, Leslie. But anyway, yeah. If we do risk getting distracted away from core,
Yeah.
so let's get back because you were going to say something about but Dorothy Bain. I couldn't think of her name. There, Dorothy Bain.
Can
Um,
I just revert back a wee minute and tell you
yeah,
about the
sure,
third
yeah.
case? The third case that I was going to bring to them
Oh, yeah.
was
Sorry, yes,
about,
yes.
again, a lady that went into hospital of quite a senior years DNA CPR. Now, she went into hospital during COVID on, she had kidney problems. She was on a limited fluid intake to allow her kidneys to digest that fluid and to
Mhm.
allow her kidneys to work properly. What did the Ayrshire and Arran Health Board do? They pushed fluids and basically drowned her organs, and she didn't come out alive.
Good God.
So that, I mean,
I
that's you.
mean,
You're sitting with,
day one when you train to be a doctor, what's the very first thing they teach you? First, do
well,
no
even
harm.
even in nursing. I mean, you're sitting in nursing. Fluid balance chart is one of the, is one of the
Hmm.
admission
Hmm.
um, processes that you do. So you would sit with a fluid balance chart and say, okay, she's only got, she's got a kidney problem. This is how you manage it. So you have to stay between exactly the parameters
Yeah.
of what she can take and what she can't. But no, they did that. So I wanted the police to look at that as well, and they wouldn't look at that either. And that showcased the mass misuse of do not resuscitate
Hmm.
orders.
Yeah.
So that's the three cases that I brought to them, uh, and none of them, they wouldn't look at them because it didn't meet the terms of reference that Dorothy Bain had put together for this operation.
Hmm. Because she's deeply involved. There's an awful lot of involvement here because she's wearing two hats, isn't she? She's got the legal hat and then the political hat. And obviously there's
Yes,
definitely what's the word? Conflict of interest.
yes, it's not impartial.
No,
I
not at
mean,
all. No.
I I have looked at the Scotland Act 1998, and I understand that that was the act put together by Westminster to allow for devolution. They should have burned it. But as part of the Scotland Act, which was nothing to do with anyone in Scotland at that point, well, not no one within the political spectrum in Scotland at that
No, that's
point,
right. It was a purely Westminster Act, wasn't it?
because we didn't exist at that point. Yeah, because it was a Westminster Act. Devolution did not occur until that act was in place. Dale.
Hmm.
44 and 48 clearly, section 48 and 44 clearly state that the Solicitor General and the Lord Advocate are junior government ministers. Now, Roger Livermore, who's one of my campaigners alongside me, who does an awful lot of work as well,
Yeah, we know
had
Roger.
spoken
Yeah.
about this. Yeah, and he also outlined that Keir Starmer in Westminster clearly said that it needed to be looked at. It wasn't right. So who's going to actually put this right? Because Dorothy Bain knows, she must know. She's clever. She's a solicitor. She's well up in her own profession. Surely she should be saying this role needs to be separated. Now, Joanna Cherry has said it. Roger is an ex-Crown prosecutor, has said it. I'm not legally trained, but I have a good understanding of the law and how it works. But I cannot comprehend how anyone can sit as a junior government minister as part of a government and then she's setting the terms of reference to investigate her own government.
Hmm.
In all accounts, she's actually investigating herself because she's part of that. It
Yeah.
makes no sense at all.
And you wouldn't be surprised if at the end of it she found herself quite innocent.
Well, see, when you look at Branch Forum, right away she recused herself from that and she said she couldn't get involved because she felt it was impartial.
Hmm.
It wasn't impartial if she continued to be the oversight on that. So she designated it to someone else.
Yeah.
However, Copper, she is not removing herself from that. And as far as I am concerned, I don't care about money. Well, that's not true. Not that I don't care about money. I have no real interest in money when it compares to human life. And when you're looking at human life, it's far more important than someone taking a camper van. You know, you're
Yeah.
talking about people's loved ones, people's lives. And I think it is unacceptable that she is not removing herself from Operation Copper. Now,
Hmm.
when I put in all the information at the start to the police, I clearly said in writing and in my paperwork that at no point did I want Dorothy Bain involved in anything to do with me. So I found it really, really concerning that when it actually came down to it, Dorothy Bain is still overseeing this
Hmm.
case and investigating
Yeah.
Sturgeon, who put her in her place,
Yeah.
who put Dorothy Bain in the role that she's in. So how can that possibly be right?
Oh,
And then the other,
it's just deeply shady, isn't it?
well, the problem as well is that in England and Wales and wherever else, you've got a coroner system. So the coroner can come in and say, he's completely independent. I'm going to investigate ABC,
Yeah.
and no one can really question the coroner. We
No,
don't have
you
a
don't. That's
coroner
right. You
in
don't have a coroner
Scotland.
in Scotland, do you?
So all we is Dorothy Bain and I think it's Miss Charteris, who's the Solicitor General, sitting as government ministers, overseeing all this public sector arrogance and all these quangos. God knows how many, I think there's 200 or something of these quangos which are getting funded with public money. And the only one that seems to actually be working in line with the law is the Scottish Commissioner, who's David Hamilton. He's
Hmm.
the only one that seems to be actually applying common sense, logic, and the law to people's complaints.
And he's making a lot of enemies as he's doing it, which is a sign that he's doing his job properly.
Well, look at this. You'll need to watch. Look what happened to me. I mean, I'm still on. I mean, I'm 3 years down the line, and when the police put me on this protection order after my car got blown up, my wheel nuts get taken off twice. The police decided to put me on this storm order. I'm still on it 3 years later, and
Mm.
yet you're only supposed to be on it for a year. And I am still on this. And to be honest, I don't know why. Because I don't live where I lived. I'm now living in the back of beyond. My life is my life is destroyed. If you look at my life as to what it was, I don't even recognise my life now. And
No,
that is all because of everything that's happened. My job gone, union role gone, my mother gone, my home gone, my car was set on fire. I feel as if I lost everything in the process of trying to do what I genuinely believed was the right thing to do. So yeah, I kind of I do say to people, if you're going to speak out now, be very, very aware that there could be consequences.
mm.
And that is very concerning that you've got to say that because we're not supposed to be in Russia, but some days it actually feels really, really dictatorship in this place. You
It's
know,
a dark place. It's and it's not just Scotland. It's a dark place in England. I'm sure it's a dark place in Wales. It's all over. There's so much downward pressure on people.
yeah.
Conform, be quiet, don't complain, ignore what you think is wrong. Black is white, war is peace. You know, it is very Orwellian.
The thing is, if you don't speak out, public sector arrogance is just going to get worse. And all these quangos that are all in place, your SPSOs, your GMCs, your NMCs, none of them actually, I don't think any of them actually listened to the concerns I put to them. So what I have now done is reported a number of organisations to the police under the term of act and part, which is the Scottish equivalent of aiding and abetting as it would be in England.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Criminal Procedure Scotland Act 1995. I have referred them under that because if you know there's an issue, for example, my mum was deemed DNA CPR, SPSO wouldn't look at it, GMC wouldn't look at it, NMC wouldn't look at it. The onus is on the professional to maybe know that that person would not react well to being resuscitated. But at the very least, what they should be doing is speaking to the family and getting some kind of background information into what that person wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it was a rush to put my mother onto a DNA CPR. And then when she got taken back in again, the second time after a disastrous discharge, they phoned me at 23 minutes past 4 in the morning to see if they could put her on another one. And I'd only dropped her off at 2:30. So the rush at that point to put all these people on DNA CPRs was absolutely appalling.
I know we've talked about it before in previous videos. We've gone over this in depth, but it doesn't. I've never changed my mind on it. It's disgusting. It's almost as though they were using the opportunity of COVID to rid themselves of elderly people in Scotland.
See when you look at, I really think that you should go and look at the statement given by, Eddie O'Connell, who was the CEO of the Down Syndrome Society in Scotland. I actually spoke to him, and he was speaking about the frailty scales and everything else. When you actually read his statement, you will be horrified at how Down syndrome people, were treated.
Oh,
And this,
there was youth. I firmly believe there was illegal euthanasia.
well, if you look at, and I am going to start coming out with stuff now that I know Dorothy Bain is still in charge. I have decided to out a lot of my evidence, and I'm going to start right now.
Ooh,
NG Nice 163 adopted 191 was the other name for the Liverpool care pathway, and that was a way of euthanizing people. So there, I've started telling you.
hmm.
Nice NG 163 adopted 191 was the use of morphine, midazolam, and buscopan, and that was given to people. And you'll see more and more and more about this in the inquiry.
Knocks you out, ends the pain, and then stops the heart.
Yes. But the thing is, if you go into hospital with COVID, you're going in with breathing problems, morphine and midazolam, and that pathway
Yeah.
in general then creates even more breathing problems. And yet, that is the trajectory that many
Mm.
people took. But what I'm hearing from care homes, and horrendous, is that when someone was in a care home, the only ambulances that were coming to the care home was to drop people off, not to actually pick anybody up and take them to hospital. I've read a letter from my GP which says, will not be coming, will not be given antibiotics, an ambulance will not be coming out, and if anyone takes ill in the home, there is your drugs. You will need morphine, midazolam, and buscopan.
Wow.
And there is all the DNA CPR forms already written out. So there you go. There's your wee bundle.
Wow. So basically, if you fell ill, you were murdered.
I'm not putting it quite as
No, that's probably too strong. You were eased on your way.
If you took ill, you were going to have problems, and that, I think, is, if you look at a man called Bill Jolly, he won't mind me talking about him. He is very, very, very open and transparent on Twitter and everything else, and he speaks about how they murdered both his his parents, both of them, not just one but two. His story is horrific, and it's been in the Daily Record about what happened to his parents. And he was then part of the inquiry, but he was removed from the inquiry, just like I was, only different, not quite to the extent it happened to me, but he was removed from the inquiry. So it's situations like this that the thought of, when you're young, your parent nurtures you, looks after you, takes you to school. I am absolutely appalled that when it actually came down to it, yes, I was there when my mum died, but she was in hospital falling. I was their qualities rep on site. Nobody would tell me. I was the health and safety rep. They were saying that faulty equipment, and yet the partnership agreement clearly stated that if anything was wrong with the equipment, it was the health and safety rep, aka me, that came and done the risk assessment hand in hand with the health board. I didn't even know she had fallen out of bed. So I feel as if it'll haunt me forever. My mum was put at risk, and ultimately, I know she died not in hospital, but she died in a care home. But they've decided to put her into a care home, and nobody could tell me where my mum was.
I remember you saying you had to go and hunt. Wasn't it you, just somebody who knew you, knew your mother, and said your mother's
Mark's
here?
mother was in
Yeah,
the room next door. If it
yeah.
hadn't been for my partner's mother, I might never have seen my mother again. And I was saying to the public sector, Inverclyde HSCP, naming you, giving your name there, HSCP, you are a disgrace. I was saying to them, the potential is there a potential here that if my mum dies, I may never see her again? And they were clearly saying yes. So why treat a daughter
It's
like that?
monstrous. It's truly monstrous.
So I just fear if another pandemic ever comes along, are they going to repeat the same mistakes, or is anyone going to stand up and say, because the HSE, they were at fault as well, they've been reported to the police as well, so come on down, HSE, there's a wee mention for you, because they covered up the hazard definition warning tables, which I'll go into, all that's been reported to the police, on the back of trying to mask misuse unsafe masks.
Yeah, we've covered that.
That's all to
It
do.
says on the box that they're not suitable. I know we've dealt with that. It's the whole thing. To put it bluntly, the whole thing was a shit show, and I think it was a mixture of ignorance, naivety, but also in the background, political expediency and quite simply evil.
I think that it was arrogance, lack of actually speaking to anybody that could have offered any kind of opinion. As a health and safety rep, the HSE should have been dealing with me. And yet I had to write to them 9 times about the masks. Yeah, they're safe. No, they aren't. We need FFP3 masks. Staff are going to die. But they just kept on the trajectory that they were on, because by that time they had really committed to what they had said in writing in April 2020. So to come back from that and say, the masks aren't safe. There was information on their website in 2010 stating that those masks were not safe and could not be used in a coronavirus. And yet the only profession that held steady on this was the dental profession. And they continue to put out stuff saying, we are not using these masks. And yet, Jason Leach, what was he?
A failed dentist. Took him 7 attempts to become a dentist.
And
then he was put in charge of the whole bloody thing. He was the man who knew everything about everything. They actually had a virologist and an epidemiologist available. They didn't take them because they didn't want to hear what the actual experts were going to tell them. They wanted someone who didn't know so they could sway the opinion and get the results they wanted. I know.
Yep, he's reported to the police as well.
All part of COPA.
All part of it. I mean, the police have been here 5 times now. I've now given them a load of recordings that I made as well. And I made these recordings under the Public Disclosures Act 1998, Section 43, subsection B, because I believe that someone could be killed through the actions which was going on at COVID, and therefore I recorded every conversation that I felt had to be recorded under that legislation.
Yeah.
So there is 20 recordings been given to the police as well. So, I mean, the amount of information that I gave to the police is horrific. You know, when's the first? I think it's Monday. That'll be 2.5 years on Monday since Brad Wilson, Roger Livermore, and I went to Cowcaddens Police Office and made our complaint. They're now saying it could be another 2.5. Are they going to get to that point and then say it'll be another 2.5? Are they going to kick the can down the road until all those that were involved are out with politics now so that their careers remain intact?
It does have that. It does have that that sort of feel, doesn't it? It seems to be a lack of urgency, but it is what it is. I mean, there's nothing really you can do. You've done what you can do. Now it's just a case of keep highlighting it and maybe embarrassing them into doing something.
I mean, they said to me at the start it would be about 5 years.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get that because they have to speak to all different people in care homes and stuff.
Yeah. And there's going to be there is going to be an awful lot of data of interviews. Everything's got to be coalesced. It's got to be written up. It will take time, but let's hope that it is within that 5 year time frame. Then it can come to a natural close, hopefully.
Well, I just think that it's, in my opinion, the more time goes down, you know, as time goes on, I am even more now of the view that it was corporate manslaughter. So the next time I intend to put my face on this and I will be showing various things that I've raised to the police in my quest to get someone held to account for what happened during COVID-19.
Lesley, I think we're all going to look forward to that very much. We're going to draw to a close because you only get so much when you're doing a Zoom call, and we're coming right up to the limit on it. But I will say it's been absolutely brilliant to have you here to talk about this. And when we get you back next time, which hopefully won't be too long, we won't leave it as long next time, hopefully. And then we can have a look at some of the stuff in detail. And what I'll do at that point is, if needs be, I'll set it up so that we can do a recording, make it into 2 parts, and then do a bit of recording and then do a second part. And we'll put it out as 2 parts. And this makes it more information rich. We'll do that.
Yeah, that's fine. But I've decided that I was sitting on it saying, you know, this is a criminal case. I don't want to in any way harm the criminal case. But now I'm at the point where 2.5 years' time, are people going to have forgotten about it completely? Are they going to have moved on? And it really, people's memories can be really short. You know, it's like, oh, I hit a pothole, but never mind, Strictly Come Dancing's on tonight. If you're not focused, if you were not affected by this personally, I think that many people just want to move on from it. But at some point in the future, they might be personally affected when it hits them.
Yeah.
And then
you don't know what these buggers have got planned. That's half the problem.
No, it's bad.
Yeah.
Horrible place to live these days. Really, really difficult, horrible, depressing place to live, Scotland.
Not just Scotland, my darling. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll speak soon, and I will just round off by saying thanks to everybody for sticking with the video if you got this far. I think you'll all agree Lesley does remarkable work and is tireless in the pursuit of justice, and certainly she's someone I admire, and I know for a fact because I see the comments that a lot of you do. So definitely give a lot of good praising comments down below. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.